Hey everyone, welcome back to Tales, Thoughts and Truths. This is Abhinav Kumar. Today's episode doesn't have separate segments. Everything's united here because what I'm about to share is special. It's heartwarming, a little heartbreaking, and deeply human. This episode I dedicate to Franz Kafka. I recently read an article about Kafka and it hit me hard. I already knew the name, probably you do too. If you don't, Kafka was an author. Kafkaesque is a word we throw around when things feel surreal or nightmarish. But the man behind that word, his story is something else. So imagine this. You are a writer pouring your soul into stories that feel like nightmares stitched into reality. But you are full of self doubt, convinced your work is too strange, too bleak. And before you die, you tell your best friend, burn it all. Don't let anyone read this. And that was Franz Kafka. Born in 1883 in Prague, Kafka lived a double life. By day, a diligent insurance clerk. By night, a tormented literary genius. He was Jewish, spoke German, lived in Czech Republic, and never quite felt like he belonged anywhere. He was quiet, anxious, and deeply introspective, and he wrote stories that felt like dreams gone wrong. Kafka didn't write long novels. His works were short, sharp, and strange. They weren't about heroes or happy endings. They were about fear, confusion, and the feeling of being trapped. And that's what makes them so powerful. Let's talk about The Metamorphosis, one of his famous works. It starts with a man named Grigor Samsa waking up one morning as a giant insect. No warning, no reason, just bug life. And you know the worst part? His family is horrified. They lock him away. He becomes a burden. He loses his job, his dignity, his place in the world. This story is not really about an insect life, my dears. It's about isolation, about how people treat you when you are no longer useful, about how easy it is to become invisible. Kafka knew that feeling well. He struggled with his health. He was diagnosed with tuberculosis, which slowly wore him down. But even more than that, he struggled with himself. He doubted his writing constantly. He thought his stories were too strange, too personal, too painful. But he once said, I am nothing but literature. He also said he didn't want anyone to read it. Before he died in 1924, he gave his friend Max Brod a clear instruction. Burn everything, all his manuscripts, all his drafts, all his unfinished stories. Max didn't listen, and thank goodness he didn't. After Kafka's death, Max published The Trial, The Castle, and other works. And slowly, the world began to notice. Kafka's stories weren't weird, they were real. They captured something deep and unsettling about modern life. The feeling of being lost in a system you don't understand. The fear of being judged, misunderstood, forgotten. After World War II, Kafka's writing hit even harder. People saw his stories as really prophetic. The cold, bureaucratic worlds he described felt familiar, oppressive. Kafka had written about the human condition in a way that was timeless. Today, Kafka is considered one of the most important writers of the 20th century. His name became an adjective, Kafkaesque. That's legacy, that's impact. But here is what gets me. He never knew any of it. He never knew he would become famous. He died thinking he was a failure. He died believing his words didn't matter. And yet they did. They matter to millions. They matter to literature. They matter to me. Kafka's story reminds me of something powerful. Sometimes the things we create in doubt become the things that change the world. Sometimes the quiet voices echo the loudest. Sometimes the person who thinks they don't belong ends up defining an entire era. So if you are listening to this and you have ever felt like your work isn't good enough, like your voice doesn't matter. Remember Kafka. Remember the man who asked for silence but gave us stories that still speak today. And that's it for today's episode. As I said, no separate segments, just a real story that has everything. An episode I dedicate to Franz Kafka. Thanks for listening. Stay curious, stay kind. This is Abhiram Ravikumar signing off. Bye bye.